They held camp. One of the guys that was outstanding was one Tua Tagovailoa, just throwing darts all over the place, not really throwing hardly any incompletions, not throwing in any interceptions. He has shined. The real talk has been, though, the way Tua has shined as a leader of this team, seeming as though he has taken the reins and is running with this team. And part of being the leader, calling out your best receiver, Tyreek Hill, and saying what he did last year against the Jets at the end of the season, walking out on the team. It is not acceptable, and it's going to be a healing process. It is not forgive and forget. It is we'll try to forgive, and we won't forget. Now, you might think in the past Tyreek Hill might have blown a gasket, but Tyreek Hill actually kind of said, all right, what I did was kind of wrong. I'll admit that. He was asked again yesterday after practice to his comments. How did he feel about Tua basically calling him out on national TV?
I think, Tua comments were needed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's obviously the leader of our team, so um, he sets the standard. So I'm just trying to be the best teammate, best version of myself for this team I can be, man. Every day, showing up to meetings, coming out here every day, busting my tail in practice. I think it's important, man. So if you want to be able to leave a legacy, um, you got to be able to, consistently do those kind of things.
So he says the comments were needed. He says Tua is the unquestioned leader of this team, and he wants to leave a lasting legacy. Vlad, is this is this Tyreek Hill turning over a new leaf, or is this Tyreek Hill just saying whatever he needs to say?
Just saying anything he needs to say. I mean, he might feel it.
I think he does.
But I've heard it all before.
Right.
I heard it last year. I heard it the year prior.
You're not going for the banana in the tailpipe yet?
I haven't gone for the banana in the tailpipe. Like, you are what you are, man. Until proven otherwise, you are what you are. So yes, but like I said early during the break, it's not about him in number one. It's about him and the other 51 other players as well. Like, everybody heard those comments at the end of last season in the game against the Jets. They heard it. That's the talk of that was during the offseason was about that with Tyreek and how he was going to have to address those comments with his teammates. And at least to the public, they're showing that they're putting up a good front.
They are.
And all he's got to do is ball out.
Yeah.
But I do want to see, because remember they said that the offense was too Tyreek centric. I want to see this year if it's divvied up equally.
They're saying that Jalen Waddle's had an outstanding offseason in camp.
Because he also he didn't have a Jalen Waddle type season.
He had a terrible season last year, to be honest.
And he's getting paid number one type money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they've talked about this on many of things. The best situation for the Dolphins would be that Jalen Waddle plays so well this year that you make it easy to trade Tyreek. Because you're paying Jalen Waddle to be a number one. If he starts playing like a number one, you don't need to pay two people to be a number one. You go younger, you go talent, you get rid of Tyreek, you get something back for him. That's in a weird way. It sounds like that's the best case scenario for the Dolphins. We'll see. Jalen Waddle, though, has been supposedly tearing it up so far. But once again, practice. Can we admit now, though, that we feel at least confident in saying Tua is now the unquestioned leader of this team?
Yeah. Well, the contract kind of
made it necessary.
Well, yeah, he's the only guy he's the highest paid player on the team, and his contract kicks in, and we've wanted that from the face of the franchise, the guy that's taking the snaps behind center. You want him to be the leader of the team, and in a situation like this, with this being a very hot topic during the offseason, and it's going to be, it would have been still a hot topic if Tua didn't step up, spoke for the team as the leader, even though people are still asking questions, but now they're asking Tyreek, how does he feel? That's going to be that's going to be one of the narratives in the 2025 season, the relationship between Tyreek and Tua.
It will be. I'm going to tell you this right now. It will be.
And not only is that going to be talked about, it's also going to be how the offense looks this year. Is, like I said, is Jalen Waddle getting passes? Is Darren Waller going to be getting more passes? Is
Devon Achane
going to run the ball between the tackles and get more rush, carries and get passes out of the backfield? If it's still Tyreek centric, then both parties have squashed their beef.
Yes.
If it's divvied up equally, I
Mm.
think that's a good thing. I will probably give Mike McDaniel maybe more credit to that.
Mhm.
But if I see Jalen Waddle getting more passes than Tyreek, then yeah,
Yeah.
there's been some bad blood still lingering.
Well, Tyreek's doing his part. He says Tua is the unquestioned leader of this team. What he said was needed. And Tyreek Hill went on to say it's important for him to be on time and to be a team member.
I think it's very important because football is a team sport, and I think whenever guys, are able to see me come out here and stretch with them, you know, it just keeps the engine rolling. You know what I'm saying, with the whole team. So it is important. The one day I did miss though, I was just dropping the kids off to the pool. So I mean, besides that, I'm out here every day, dog.
Come on, man. See, this is why I can't take him. I don't need that excuse. That is a bad. You shouldn't even have said anything. Just said I was late. But your excuse is because I was dropping the kids off at the pool.
No, he says I miss dropping the kids off at the pool.
So
he's on time now. They said he's showing up and stretched. He's been on time. He hasn't been showing up late. It hasn't been the Tyreek Hill show. He's making that commitment. So he goes even further, and he has to hold himself accountable.
Oh, man, I feel like that's the most important thing. Being consistent, coming out here working every day hard. Just trying to get back to that old form of myself, man. I think that's very important. Just holding myself accountable, man.
All right. Now, when he's saying going back to his old self.
Yeah, I know. What old self is he talking about?
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I also thought he said last week why would he want to go back to his old self? Because he also said he's never given the game of football his 100%, all. 100%,
yeah.
What are you saying here?
It's contradictory.
Come on, bro. I've heard it all before.
He also said, and we don't have the clip, but he said that for the first time in his life, he's taking notes in meetings and paying attention.
What, at 31?
He didn't know the playbook the last 3 years in Miami.
He said he didn't understand the playbook the past couple of years in Miami. But, I mean, another thing is he did almost have 2,000 yards in one season. So he obviously understood enough to get by.
So what is it, Dan?
I know.
I'm going to put all my effort into the season for the first time in my career? Or is it I need to go back to my old self?
Also, isn't it just basic responsibility to be on time and give 100% of your effort?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't drop the kid to the pool. What? What do we do?
He misses dropping his kids off at the pool. So, yes, he's very contradictory of himself because he's saying that I got to get back to my old self, but he's also said that his old self is someone that showed up late, that wasn't the best teammate, that didn't give 100% to the game.
Tyreek is a charmer, okay? He could charm.
Obviously.
In the beginning, he'll charm the hell out of you, and then he's winning, and the cheetah get you guys going crazy because, hey, we're fun, exciting, woohoo. Maybe. And then he got the NFL, and then the worst thing that ever happened to Tyreek, remember here it was getting the NFL top 100, being the number one.
By his peers voted him the best player in the league. They were pretty smart doing that. They knew what they were doing. So Tyreek Hill did have a lot of injuries last year. I think Tyreek Hill needs to work on being the new Tyreek Hill. I think that would kind of solve a lot of the what is he saying? What is he doing? Who is he? He's contradicting. So like
31, you got to find a new you.
If you don't even know there's always
who you were.
There's always room for regrowth and change in your life.
I get that, but I don't need to find a new me at 31. I might just have to evolve me at 31, but I kind of know who I am.
No, the new evolved Tyreek Hill, showing up on time, which you should do anyway.
You should have done that already. You've been in the league for 10 years.
Paying attention during meetings, which you should have been doing anyway.
10 years.
Giving 100%,
10 years.
Which you should have been doing anyway. Not walking out on your team and being a good teammate, which you should have been doing anyway. I'm trying to think.
Everything you're saying, I'm saying 10 years. He's been in the league for 10 years. That's something he should have already known. What do I always say? Once the talent is not worth the risk, it's over.
Like I said, so Jalen Waddle and Tua are saying they have a very special connection because Tyreek Hill had the wrist problems, didn't get any OTAs, didn't get any work done in the offseason. Said that Tua and Jalen Waddle worked out a lot, and they've really, really gotten on the same page. And as you've seen, a lot of people are saying Jalen Waddle's carrying himself very different than he has in the past. He's being more vocal, which we've already heard. He's being more of a team leader, which we've known. They're saying he's having really good practices. But I could see it, like you said, if it starts getting to one of those situations where Tua is favoring Waddle and Waddle's his go-to guy and Tyreek Hill's production is down a little bit, that before the trade deadline, Tyreek could be out.
That might be the move.
That might. I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, I hate to say it, it sounds crazy, But Vlad, if you're a Dolphins fan, you hope that's what
But
happens.
damn, remember we said this. We talked about this last season when we started seeing. Maybe before the offseason, before the March of 2025. I remember we were talking about. I know it was last year because we were like, why are wide receivers? Why are teams paying their top 2 wide receivers big money like that?
Yeah.
Philadelphia combined paid AJ Brown and Devontae Smith over 60. The Dolphins combined to pay Waddle and Hill over 60.
Over 60, yeah.
The Bengals combined to pay Higgins and Chase over 60.
Well, they actually get their money out of that.
But I was like, this is too much for one position.
Yeah, it is true. It
Especially
seems excessive.
When the wide receiver is always coming out the draft every year. So I didn't get that. And I think teams are starting to realize, oh, that was a big mistake. We just need one.
Yeah.
We just need one.
Or maybe give the general manager some credit. They have a little foresight where they're like, we'll pay them both like number ones, and then we'll keep the one we want and trade off as an asset.
But if
when we
the
don't.
other one that you trade off is combustible,
I know.
like Tyreek, that's the thing. I don't think that, personally speaking, I think they did call some teams to figure out what was Tyreek's trade value, and I don't think they got the response they were looking for, or the trade package that they trade assets that they were looking for. So I don't think they could move him now. But if he starts playing well again and the team needs to make a move, yeah.
This is my thing, Vlad. We talked about this early.
To be good and successful.
We talked about this early, before there was even whispers of anything. You and I asked the question, when is Tyreek Hill and Jimmy Butler's antics going to catch up with them to where
we said this 2 years ago?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We said that way before any inklings of these guys not being on any of the teams. We said, when is it going to be too much? When does the juice outweigh the squeeze, or however you want to say it? And sure enough, it came to Jimmy, and I'm scared that it's coming to that time soon with Tyreek.
I said it when I was like, I don't know about giving Tyreek that contract, that extension.
You know what a good organization does? A championship organization does? Kansas City Chiefs did. Probably saw it and looked at it and said, it's nice to have a Ferrari, but are we really needing a Ferrari that we ride around? And he did great at Kansas City, and he did great with the Dolphins. And last year was, I think, it was an anomaly. But maybe Kansas City had a little more foresight and said, this is too much. It's going to be too much. Let's just cut ties now and get what we can get for them. Dolphins, not a championship organization, but maybe this year Jalen Waddle makes it easy for Chris Greer.
If Waddle steps up as a one, yeah, you could trade Tyreek and if Tyreek starts looking like Tyreek of, years prior.
Yesteryear.
And we're always saying that the team doesn't have a direction. They need a rebuild. You trade Tyreek, you get something for the future.
Yeah, you get some assets for the future, and you still have a number one receiver. It seems like
now everybody's like, oh, and I know we've seen the rumors of, trade Tyreek to Dallas for Micah. No. Dallas has 2 receivers already. One in CeeDee Lamb, who's making a lot of money. He's one of the highest paid wide receivers in the league. And George Pickens, who's in the final year of his rookie deal and is looking for a big deal. So
Jerry Jones,
I don't know. I mean, Jerry Jones does like to splash and everything, but they need a running back to make that offense be more balanced. They always talk about, what about Terry McLaurin for Tyreek?
Which we're going to talk about in the next hour. But so
I think that's more, I don't want to say likely, but
I don't know how much I believe these guys about talking about they requested trades. I think these are
not bad. When you
these
think
are
about
tactical moves.
It's not a bad trade.
No.
But the Washington Commanders, their general manager, they're analytics guys. They're nerds like that. So they don't really expect to pay one player of wide receiver in that position a lot of money when they know there's a great crop of receivers coming out in the draft every year. So for everybody looking at those trade options, you got to look at the business side of those deals.
Here's my thing with Tyreek. If he's saying these things and meaning these things, I'm happy for him, and I hope he is. I am scared that possibly they've had to sit down and said, you need to start toting the party line. And maybe we're going to look back and say Tyreek didn't mean those things. He was saying them in jest almost, or just out of obligation. He really, now that we listen to it, it's like, oh, it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Just toting the party line because he's been told to be put in place.
Listen, he can't. if he starts acting like an,
Knucklehead.
if you start throwing tantrums, it's over. It's already, you already did, you said what you said in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
In MetLife. The cameras caught that, and then now you're gonna want
It's hard to believe that he's somewhat on thin ice this year.
antics. No, your antics are getting old now because you're 30. You're also 30 now. You're 31. So those putting up with those
No.
antics.
That's not the reason his antics are getting old. The season he had last year is the reason why his antics are getting old.
But if he had a great season last year, you're still putting up the antics.
You're fine with the antics, though.
Right. So the antics aren't good because you're 31 years old.
And you had a bad season.
You had a bad season. And the risk is not worth the reward.
There's context, as you say, in winning and losing. For right now, though, he's saying everything in public correct.